Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over a coin called Maker. Follower requested for it a couple times, and I just never got around to it. I'm gonna be going over the technicals of it for Maker, guys. Oh, by the way, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. That'd be really appreciated. What I'm gonna do here with Maker is I'm just gonna go through the process. Yesterday was the first day I decided to look at the charts or the technicals or anything with Maker and do a little bit research about with it. And I'll show you just the initial steps to check something, a coin, like what you can do right now, just to make a couple quick checks on a coin to see, okay, is this going to be something I want to check into? So right here, you have the fundamental side of a coin, and then you have the technical side of the coin. Okay, it's best probably to have both. You want to be able to check into the fundamentals, understand if there's high inflation, what's going on with it. Is there a stable coin involved with this ecosystem, or et cetera, things like that. So you want to check into that. But I was going over, this is Maker. It's trading at over $1,000. And it does look like this is their governance token, MKR, and it has limited supply. So that's good. There's possible pumpability with it. And this coin's been around. Another thing that I do a little check on too. So I'm a swing trader, more towards the swing trader side of it. And I'm going to be looking for things where I think that there's a possible upcoming pumpability. And one of the places I go look is I see all the exchanges over here. So that's going to have a definitely better results, if you will, where more people have access to it to go buy it. All right. Because when they see green candles, other people are like, oh, look at this. It's got green candles. They go over there, they go buy it. But the people that are following this channel that are here right now, in the cryptoverse, you understand that you don't chase green candles. You wait for those green candles turn into red candles, right? And then you go down there and get it right now. So let's go over. I went to their website. It's in the DeFi space, and they have DAI. For those that don't know, they use DAI, which is a stable coin. All right, now DAI is here. It's pegged to the dollar, and it came out in November 2019, and looks like it had to stabilize itself a little bit, to be expected. And now ever since, it's going through all this. This is pretty good. So basically, in my opinion, DAI as a stable coin has pretty much been battle tested. Okay, it's been battle tested once. It made it through. So that's really positive for Maker. It's really good for Maker. Now the DeFi protocol, you don't get these massive returns. It's a little, I think, in my opinion, it's probably a little bit on the safer side. It's kind of like an Aave, and that's however you want to look at that. It's either a benefit or not a benefit. You expect higher returns or something like that. However, and when markets go down, like they've been going down for the past, I don't know, 6, 8 months, 9 months, something like that, you want to make sure your funds are safe, as we can find. Luna, good example, right? They have a lot of Twitter followers. I look at that too. Obviously, if they are have on a lot of exchanges, you go to Twitter and you see like, oh, they only have 30,000 followers. You're like, what's going on there? Just other things I just kind of look at real quick to check it out, and looking at Maker, okay? And then you can find the white paper and stuff that you want to do a fundamental check on this coin. Now, here I'm over at Maker now, guys. I have the chart. And I made sure I had all the data with this coin over here, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I know the markets have been going down a lot. So this is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm like, okay, I'm interested in Maker. I think Maker, maybe there's a pump coming up or something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take over here, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to see how far down did it go? Oh, 89%, okay? So other coins been down 89%, Bitcoin down. So that's good. The other thing I'm going to do, this is on the weekly chart, by the way, guys. I'm going to come over here on the RSI, and I'm going to take a look. Where is this last peak right there on a wave? And it came down over here. Okay. And for Maker right now, this is, in my opinion, I would like to see that down more, but they don't always go down that much. And one of the reasons why is because of the structure that it's making, okay? Not to say they can't go down more, but that's why I'm gonna look. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. So now I know if I'm gonna be looking for a future long play in Maker, I'm like, this is probably pretty could be pretty decent. Okay. So now the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the structure of it. Okay. So like I'm going to look at the pumps on Maker. So I have a massive pump here, right? This is like a 20, I think it went up 2000%. So it did a 20x. I'm going to look at the dates, March of 20. And then what did it peak out at? May of 2021. So now I know this went up on probably a 3-wave move when Bitcoin and Ethereum and the crypto market went up. So Bitcoin and Ethereum were in a third wave, a massive third wave, and Maker was able to do this. Boom, go up like that. Okay. Obviously, you're just looking at the coin, you would have been better off being in Ethereum. Ethereum had more price appreciation than Maker here. And then I'm going to look at the other pump over here, this massive pump from here to here. And January 17 to January 18. So 1 year massive pump, and then it went into a bear market. Okay. So that's another thing that I check. And then what I'll do too is I will check these waves. If I'm really interested in it, I'll check these waves. So here's a wave. It looks like it took about 300 days, more or less. I guess, yeah, 308 days. So then I'm going to check the wave that's next to it too. And I'm going to go, well, how long did that wave take? 833 days. So I had to go 833 days. I'm going to check the other wave on it, right? On these smaller assets, you can do this. So it made 406 days for that wave. Okay. So now I know this wave took a little bit longer than that wave. And this was a long drawn out second wave that it did. And I'm going to check this wave. I'm going to come over here. How long did that wave take? 406 days. Let me check this wave again. 413 days. Okay. Usually when the wave goes up, usually the correction is a little bit longer over here. Usually you can see this wave was only so long, and then the second wave took a lot longer over here, and then this wave over here is almost equal to that wave. Not to say that it can't be done, but to me it starts, I'm like, I bet the correction, it could be doing some more in there. So that's another thing that I check real quick. You can do it real quick with these smaller assets to give you an idea what's going on with the coin. And then here with Maker, you can see where it popped on made its bottom right there, its local bottom. You just put to the bottom of that, and you can see like there, you see that? Boom, right on top of this area. So more than likely, in my opinion, it's probably going to have a difficult time if it's not done with this correction, getting through that area. So you can see it went right down to it, bounced out of there. It's going to really have to have a negative crypto environment overall to really get through there, in my opinion. So a lot of support. You can also put something in there like this. You can just see all this area right there. So more than likely, this could be another staging base for Maker to get out of there. Okay, guys? So that's what I'm looking at. So here you see the move. It's 3-wave moves. It did 3-wave moves. 3, 3, 3, and then this is 3. Okay? Simple. And the question is it done? Well, I know that a correction probably is coming up. I checked the count on Maker, and it's a complex WXY that it came down in. ABC, ABC, double zigzag, and ABC, WXY. It does hit fib targets. And, over here, it does look possibly it could be consolidating a little bit. I know that the markets, Bitcoin, particularly Ethereum, is due for a correction. I think a correction is looming. So this area right here, if it holds at 684, will be your line in the sand. If it holds that, it's probably consolidating to get ready to get out of here. If you take a look at this area on Maker, and then if you come back over to these areas, so like, you can see here's where it started ripping out of here on its March of 2020 when the crash came right here. And you can see it's kind of, you can suss this out a little bit and say, okay, maybe those are 1-2s, and then it started going up there and went through this. But then you see this area right here, this area on Maker, it's very confusing. Most people, if they didn't have this over here or this over here, so like kind of like if you just had this section and you're looking at it, You're like, is it bullish? Is it bearish? You know, and it made a low way over here. And you're thinking, oh, that can't be bullish. There's no way. And has a little bit, higher low right there. And then you can see what happens next. Boom, up there, just like that. You see? So you come back to these areas, like these can be tricky. This is reminding me of Bitcoin, actually. Look at that move. It's almost like Bitcoin, you know? It's just sitting in that area. So is it coming down, consolidate, fake people out to get out of there? It could be. Would I get into it yet? Nope, I would not, because I know a correction likely is looming, and then I want to see where it's going to correct to. Okay? Going in here and trying to come out with a count, you can get a bullish out of that. You can get a bearish count out of that. Okay? Personally, my best guess right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of bullish sequence in there that it's doing. So that's why you just want to pay attention to it and see, okay, let's say Bitcoin's going to do a 20% correction. I'll take a look. I was like, how far can this thing go down and maintain the low? So it can go down 37%. It can do a 37% drop. And, the markets have to be pretty bearish for this last time to have a massive wave run down. Right here, you see 58% on that leg, and probably about the same right here, 57%. And you can see with Maker, like it did its correction, bounced, and then started working on it. But most of the correction was taken care of in these last 5 wave. This is an ABC. This is 5 right here. Boom, went up, and boom, boom. It took care of most of its correction right there. So to answer your question, what I think is going on with it, here are your options. I'm going to put it together for you. Okay. I'll put it together real quick for you guys. More than likely, you got a trend like so. Okay. You see Maker right now. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. You see that area right there? Look at that. And you come over here. Look at that. So, and then over here, I would take the trend. Okay. Here's this peak. So I know this is a 3rd wave peak, and there's a peak. So I'm going to take the trend, and I'm going to go, and that's a 5th wave throw over, and just keep it on there and see where it goes this direction. See what happens, and where does it end up over here. See if it makes sense like that. Is it like this? So like that? It could be something like that. You just don't know with these moves on a coin like this. But then you can take your trend and go all the way out here like this, and probably get a general area of where target may be going. Maybe going. Remember that. I'm not saying it is going, maybe going. This thing's not going to go way, way up there. That's just not realistic, guys. And it could be doing something like that. So the move this could be making is a diagonal type move. Like this. This was its over here. This 1, 2 went up onto 3. So this was the throw over in this area and down here, and then it could blast back up, something like that. Okay. That would be the bullish sequence of it. Or if it's not done yet, like I said, it maybe come down. So you could see that trend. See how that trend's on there? It had a wick down here, a wick down there. It could come back down on the correction over here. Say they correct, it could come back down here. I would keep my trend line just like this, see if it stays right on there. A lot of these times what these assets like to do when the markets are like warming up to go bullish is you see it go down up like this, and then it'll just come down, and you'll see it go like this, boom, 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 or something like that, and then it goes in here a little bit, and then boom, it can go like that. So you just want to keep an eye on it. I know I'm making this a little bit long and drawn out, but that's what I would be looking for. And I just go back to the weekly chart. I always zoom out. I zoom out weekly on these smaller ones. You go to the weekly if you can, and then zoom in, go in all the way down into like wherever you like to go. The 12 hours usually where I go, or maybe the 8 or the 4 hour, and go check it out. And I look at it, I go, okay, we just have to see. Gonna have to stand by and see what Maker's gonna do. But you can have a target, my target area. You put a trend here, right? This is gonna be the area you're gonna see this thing start testing. Right there at 4,000, it looks like. What did it get up to? It got up to 6,200. So these are going to be the areas it's going to test. Okay. If it's a bear market bounce, you can take your retracement of this leg, keep the wicks out, so you have a safer play. You keep the wicks out. Don't include the wicks, and then you can say, okay, is there going to just be a bounce? And you would start looking at 382 to 618 on a coin like this. So this is the bounce up here, comes down, bounces, comes down to correct again to make the other wave, or it's going to be going. If it's bullish, the crypto markets are bullish, then these are going to be the areas right up here. I'd be looking for that, something like that, guys. Okay. Overall, I do think it's a pretty decent, it's a solid coin. Are you going to get massive returns out of it? You could. For this market, you know, let's say from here to up to here, you know, it's only 7x, you know, which is realistic, guys. It's going to be realistic. So as an example, Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to a nice fifth wave run. To expect something like this on this leg, it's going to be a 7x. And if you see the pattern too here, look, right over here, you see how this leg is the most explosive. Boom. It came over, corrected. Now this leg's explosive too, but it's not quite as much as this one. So over here, you'll have another leg, but it's not going to be as much as this one. That's probably the pattern the maker's doing. Over here's this last little hoorah for the diagonal. And you can't get all the data. So you see this over here, it's probably for the correction, part of the correction that it went up a little bit. Maybe not, but it's pretty much equal. And then over here in the RSI, you'll get your clue too over here. Let me put that in there too. I'll show you what'll be going on. Say it's done with this thing over there, down with the correction in the RSI, it'll probably pop up to this area, just in like to the 70s and 80s. And if it's up here, you'll see, you'll have, okay, there it is like that, okay? From this RSI, so this RSI is higher and this will be lower, but the price could be equal or higher up there. And then you'll come over here and you'll see it. That will be your definite cue to exit, because then Maker will be correcting this whole sequence like so. You could say that this was its diagonal, that it took years to make, and it's going to have a second wave correction, probably down, right back down to these areas again, and then it could go into a third wave like so. And that would follow my thesis with Bitcoin and Ethereum, where I think that they're going to be performing a fifth wave, FOMO fifth wave, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum will be completing a sequence, going into a second wave, kind of like Maker here. It'll be completing a sequence and then going into a second wave. So I would follow that if perhaps my thesis is correct. Made all the way to the end. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.